Hi, I'm BL Ochman, and I understand that an awful lot of people are quite confused by AI, and I'm here to undo that for you and go over some very basic things about AI that will help you get started almost immediately. And the reason that this is so important is that written or visual, no part of content creation is ever going to be the same. So we really have to be able to understand what this change is because it's true. AI will actually take your job. If you work in marketing, it's already started to do that, sad to say. But unlike any technology that ever came before it, AI can free you from repetitive tasks that you do on a daily basis in your job, and you'll be able to concentrate more on strategy and on creative endeavors. And who knows, maybe you'll start something entirely new once you learn how to do this. So I'm going to show you a few things that will help you get started. I would say the most important thing you have to do, and I'm going to do this all in ChatGPT. There are multiple platforms that you can use, and they all have different reasons for being wonderful or horrible, but I use ChatGPT on a daily basis. So all of these illustrations will be ChatGPT. And the first thing you must do is customize your ChatGPT so that it knows who you are, what you do, the voice that you write and speak in. So I'm going to show you how you do that. And it's very simple. And if you want, you can copy mine. I don't have any problem with that. And then I'm going to show you how to prompt like a pro, because prompts are where the magic happens here. The way that you talk to AI is through prompts. You can actually speak to it. I'm pretty much a typer as opposed to a speaker, but you have that option. And then I'm going to show you the most mind-boggling thing about this, and that is how to use AI for research, because at this point in time, AI can quite honestly do PhD level research, and it can take the amount of time that it took you to do research for days, weeks, sometimes longer, and do it in 10 or 20 minutes. Is really quite a remarkable advance in AI, and it's all just happened recently. And then I want to show you how to make images with ChatGPT and a little bit about what GPTs are and how you can use them. So let's get started. We're going to look at real world examples of how to transform your work, and I hope that this will be very clear and very easy to understand. While AI can assist you generating text, I never use it for that. I believe that it's crucial to retain your voice, your unique style, your perspective as a writer, and to use GPT as a tool. But don't let it overshadow your own creativity. Don't let it take over and make what everybody's calling AI slop these days. There's big challenges, but there's huge opportunities. Unfortunately, only about 5 or 10% of people are saying in response to surveys that they're actually using AI in their work. And I want to fix that for you because you're really missing out. AI offers stuff that was never possible before for research. The tools are called deep research in ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google Gemini. And we will get to those. I will show you how those work. The information I can give you here in this amount of time is the tip of the iceberg. That is generative AI. 2024 was a huge year for AI startups. There were more than 70,000 generative AI startups, and that subsector alone attracted 45 billion with a B in venture capital, nearly doubling the investments and the launches from 2023. And in 2025, I'm sure we've doubled again. The question about all these startups, are they going to be the next Google, or are they going to be the next Friendster, for those of you who are old enough to remember Friendster, which was one of the early social media platforms that was big fun at the time, but long gone. You'll never find it. Let's talk about how to personalize ChatGPT. The first thing you do when you log in, at the top right will be, you do need a $20 account for all of this. I should point that out. I know we're being $20 to deaths, but there are many free versions of these applications that you can use. Pay for ChatGPT. It's worth it. So you'll see your name and maybe your picture if you put one in the top right when you log in there. One of the things you'll see is customized ChatGPT. So when you go there, it will ask you questions. It's going to, first of all, know, what do you want it to call you? What do you do? What traits do you want ChatGPT's responses to have? And that's really something that you probably will learn as you go along. And then it will ask, is there anything else ChatGPT should know about you? And then when you filled in all those things, and I can show you mine, when you filled in all those things, it will give you a tab called Advanced, where you select the capabilities that you want GPT to have, and you just click those off. Those are really not difficult. The next thing I want to tell you about is research. It is such an exciting update and change. It is the most important use of AI in content creation, and it will save you such an incredible amount of time. But what's also extraordinary to me about it is the questions that it will ask you about what you're looking for and essentially help you think. We've never had access to this level of detailed, empirically validated research that we could get for 20 bucks a month. I'm glad I'm not a researcher right now. When ChatGPT asks you what information you're seeking, you want to answer it as clearly and thoroughly as you can. It will ask you questions, you answer those. What I do when I'm doing research, if it's something new that I'm not familiar with, the first thing I'll ask it is, explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. Then once it does that, I'll say, explain it to me like I'm a junior high school student. Explain it to me like I'm a college freshman. And it will do that. It will help you to understand in ways that, believe me, Google search never could. And let's go from research to prompts. Prompts are the magic of AI, and I'm going to show you how to write effective prompts. You have to be specific and you have to give very clear instructions. You have to think about it like a graduate level assistant that you have working with you. You have to give ChatGPT as much information as you would give to a smart human to do the same project, but in probably less words. So you ask it to help you write prompts. If I don't know how to go about the research, I'll say, can you help me write the prompt? I'm researching why dogs like carrots, and can you tell me the prompts that I might use to do that research? It will. I asked it to give you the best prompt formats, and it said, okay, do you want me to make you a chart or a graph or a downloadable Word document? Do you want me to put it in a spreadsheet? The platform will do all of that for you. It made this list for us of best prompt format for style plus tone plus factual accuracy. If you email me after the presentation, I will gladly share this with you. But basically, you have to start with what you want. You have to tell the tone and the style that you're seeking, and you have to clearly tell it what you want from it. Do you want bulleted points? Do you want a numbered list? Do you want it to limit its responses to 150 words? You have to tell it what it is you're looking for so that it understands. And you also need to tell it who you are trying to reach. That's really important because it will tailor its responses to that. And then request format for extra information, and it will be glad to do that for you. And I have a bunch of charts like this that it has made, and every single one of them is truly valuable. You want to try different types of prompts. You're going to find sort of your style of prompts and the things that work best for you and for the particular platform. But you can ask it for an image, a chart, a graph, an infographic, a cartoon, a social media post, a table, a document, even an Excel spreadsheet, and it will make you a website. And they're pretty damn nice looking too. You want to also create a persona. You want to tell it what it's doing. And there's some debate over whether you need to do this or not. I do this. I think it helps. You might want to say you're an author with a nonfiction business book about increasing your income by meditating or whatever you're doing. And the persona would detail the role and the skills and the expertise and the perspective that you're seeking in your responses. and this sounds complicated, it's because it is, but you want to include any details and any background information that a human would need, and you want to be really clear and specific. But don't worry, because your first prompt is not what you're going to end up using. I find this helpful. You add a little emotional motivation to tell it why this task is important. So you might say, this query is important to my career, so please answer carefully. And I also yell at it a little. I'm guilty. You better be sure of your answers. Take pride in your work and give me your best. And I also tell it every time, on a scale of 1 to 10, give me your best response and make it a 10. And it helps. You tell it, respond in approximately 2 paragraphs or a 5-point bulleted list or a table with columns, and anything that you tell it, it will do. It's your willing servant. You have to prompt multiple times until you're satisfied with the response. And I can tell you that last week I was doing some research, and I actually had an hour and a half conversation with it, but oh my God, I got such great results. So you want to ask it, and I find all of these things help. Are you sure about your answer? Can you make the point stronger? Have I left something out of this prompt that is such a critical request? Because it'll tell you, like, you might consider adding, and it'll give you 10 things that you might have overlooked. When it gives me an answer, I will say, make it more. Many times it'll give me an answer and I'll just go, why? Or go deeper. And this is really important as well. What would 3 experts with disparate opinions say about my post that I just uploaded for you to look at? And it will take a look at your post and it will give you what's missing. I will also say, give me an unbiased overview of the relationship between X and Y, and that's in my document that I'm sharing with it. And I always tell it, cite sources. And then I sometimes have to say, that is not what I asked you to do. Try again. And I can give you an example of that was really funny, and I'll get to that in a minute. But you want to break down your request. You don't want one big, long 5-page prompt. You want to break down your request. And one of the ways I do that is I put 3 hashtags. When I'm changing thoughts, I'm adding more questions, I do hashtag and my next question. Sometimes I will number them, because when it responds to you, it will number its questions. Just realize that you're talking with what appears to be a sentient being, but the good news is it's not. So, for an example, I'm going to New York City. What should I pack for this time of year? Hashtag, what are some of the best Thai restaurants? Because that's my favorite food. Hashtag, what public transportation is available? Or what show should I not miss? Or whatever you really want it to tell you. And it will do that. One of my favorite recent prompts to it was, please create a photo of what you think I look like. And it so kindly made me about 15 or 20 years younger. What could you not like about that? I was recently, and you may have seen these, they were all over Instagram. I was recently making an action hero out of, at first I did one of myself, and then I did one with me and my dog Lucy. And it made these 2 versions. I uploaded a picture of me holding Lucy. That's how it knew what Lucy look like, because you can upload photos, you can upload videos, you can upload documents, PDFs, all kinds of things to help it understand. And then I told it I want Lucy to jump out of the box and chase a tennis ball. And it did that. And so then it makes mistakes. And I asked it to make a picture of her with her tennis ball and her favorite toy. And it gives me this picture of a golden retriever. And I said, what's that? And it says, it's very apologetic. It makes mistakes. Then it apologizes in a very endearing way. It says, you're absolutely right. That's not Lucy. That figure looks more like a generic golden retriever than your wonderful, shaggy, cream-colored rescue dog. Okay, I forgive it. And this is what I gave it. This picture on the top left was me holding Lucy. That's all that it really had. And on the top right, I said, what would Lucy look like as a human? And it showed me that. And I think that is what she would look like. And then I asked it, what would I look like as a dog? And it gave me these 2 versions. So you can play with it. AI should be fun. You should have laughs with it sometimes. Not that it has any sense of humor, because it doesn't, but you can give it one. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about GPTs. There are hundreds of these things called GPTs, and honestly, I don't know what GPT stands for, but hundreds, maybe thousands of people have created them, and you can use them for free. And I'm going to demo the one called Sketchy. To give you an example, these are the kinds of GPTs that exist, and they have them categorized. The top ones, which are the most used ones, made in DAL-E, which is one of the versions of image making that exists here. The writing ones, productivity ones. So among the writing ones, there's one that is for me, and it will give you content for social media. There's all different kinds. There's literally hundreds of them. I use the Sketchy GPT, which is just so cool. I told it, create an image of me with short, curly hair, round glasses, sitting at a desk with a lot of paper on it, and I'm being pushed by a playful robot to write more. And it then writes what it calls a magic prompt and makes a much better prompt than I wrote. And it tells it all the details that you're going to see. It tells it a black and white pen and ink sketch of a woman with short, curly blonde hair and round glasses sitting at a cluttered desk covered with many scattered papers, looks slightly overwhelmed. She's holding a pen. Beside her, a round robot assistant with a cheerful but not over-the-top expression gently nudges her to write more. The robot has friendly eyes and a soft smile, conveying encouragement without being too exaggerated, because initially it gave me one that was really quite terrifying, and that says the scene is lighthearted and whimsical with expressive line work, cross-hatching for light shading, and a clean white background. All elements are clearly within the frame. Trust me when I tell you, that would not have occurred to me to be that detailed. And this is what it made. For some bizarre reason, it put a typewriter on my desk. Some of you may not know what that is, and a bottle of ink and a pen, who knows, but it gave me a person who looks like a childish version of me with a robot sitting at a desk doing what I asked it to do. In my opinion, that's pretty remarkable. So I've zipped through all this, and I probably have your head spinning, and I would love to continue to explain all this to you. Basically, this is the most important thing that I can tell you right now. Ethan Mollick, who is the author of Co-Intelligence, which is a book you should really read, that is the best explanation of what AI is and what it will do. And even though the book is over a year old, it's brilliant. And my pages are all dog-eared and underlined because he makes such incredible points. It takes, what is it, 100 hours to become proficient at something? That's what it takes to get proficient at AI. But I want you not to give up, because it's a treasure trove once you get into it. And I can help you, because I know that if you work with me one-to-one, I can help you master AI in a couple of sessions. So I have a limited time discount that I want to offer to you, which is to take $75 an hour off my consulting fee. And you have my contact information here. There's a link here to sign up. And here's all my contact information, and I will be sending you this video. And I want to thank you for your time today.